Hello, this is Max Drake. I did a video before on Python remote triggering scripts, and it was sort of proof of concept. So I actually just used the IP address of my server, my Windows server, to be able to allow that to happen. Then I suddenly thought, well, no, what I actually want is I want a subdomain on an existing domain name that I've got. So I just want to pop into here and do a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to look up a couple of domain names that I've got, and because they're in different locations. So I've got this one here, and we'll look it up, and I'll look up another one that I've got through here, which is image4.cf. There we go, and we'll look up these ones here. And if we look at the DNS records, so that's the domain name server, you can see that this one here has Cloudflare. So I'll talk about that in a little bit more. This one here has Freenom. So it's got some pointers. So the name, what are they called? Name something or other, is where it's actually pointing to. So this one points to there. This one actually points to cloudflare.com. So let's just go and look at Cloudflare wherever. What is content? And Cloudflare is a content delivery network. And what it does is basically it stores some of your files on different computers around the thing. So there's a kind of brief little talk about
Modern customers are impatient. Your website load time has a tremendous effect on how long visitors will wait for your site to load. Research shows a 2-second delay can lead to more than a 4% loss in satisfaction, and most importantly, a 4.3% loss in revenue per visitor. Unhappy, impatient visitors leave before purchasing your great products, impacting your bottom line. The farther a visitor is from where your site is hosted, the longer it takes for the data to reach them, hurting website performance. That's where Cloudflare's content distribution network saves the day. A CDN is a distributed network of servers designed to load your website as quickly as possible. By distributing parts of your website, such as images and JavaScript files, closer to your customers, your website can be loaded quickly, keeping your customers happy and your profits high. For more information,
so that's Cloudflare, which you can actually get your own free ones on there. And anyway, as you pay, you can get a lot more sophisticated things to go with. Anyway, so that is where my pir.tk one is actually located. Now, to make a subdirectory of that, a subdomain of that, I need to add in. So I'd need to add a record, and the record would be name, and we're just going to go D, and we just call that, and the IP address that we want is 5, and it's not going to do it for me. So we just give it the same IP address that we've actually got before, and we go save. So now it's created another subdomain called D on the Cloudflare where my domain name is hosted. Now on this one here, if we look at the DNS records here, these ones are actually hosted on Freenom.com. So that is the one where we've got the Freenom. So on that particular one, I can go into my client area. Oh no. And I've got to go into here. It's a bit slow, it doesn't matter. Into here, and we can add another record onto there to actually make a domain name as well. And I've got a couple already added to this one here. One of them is called A, one is called B, one is called C, and I've got one which is called V, which I'm actually just testing. So you've got to go to wherever your domain name is actually hosted, and my domains. You've got to go to where your web site is hosted. This is hard work. And add another subdomain. Now the record that you actually add, if we're adding a record, it's of type A, is that's all we actually want. So we don't want to do any more of those. So you've got all of these A ones here. So there's one called www, there's the original one called PIR. So these ones can be underneath that one there. The MX one is actually for your mail if you want that as well. So if I'm doing it on here, you'll see I've got a blank one, and then which I think is the original image4.csv, and then I've got an A, B, C, and a V, and a www, and I can actually add extra ones along the bottom through here. So these are all subdomains that I can actually have of the main one. So therefore, there are the places, Freenom, which is supporting it. So if you've got a GoDaddy account, most probably the GoDaddy will actually have a place where you can actually park your domain. So you purchase your domain name, Womble at womble.com, and you go and purchase that somewhere, and then you give it a domain name. So you actually give it the name. What are they called? It's annoying me now. Namesakes, name something or other is what they actually do. I've got, as I said, I've got ones hosted on CDN, so these are the more popular websites I've got, and the other ones that I'm actually just sort of toying with are on another one through which I'm not bothering to host on the things, because they're sort of more experimental type things that I'm doing, and so more my play ones. So you've got to make sure that you create your subdomain where your DNS management location is. So once you've got that, you are then you have that identity. So at that point in time, your subdomain is located with that. Now that needs to happen first before you can actually do anything on your, before it's actually recognized when you're trying to do something on your ISS. So if I actually just create a subdomain here, and I'm just going to go to sites, and I'm just going to go add a website, and I'm going to call this website e.pyr2.tk, and we're going to just select this one. The application pool one is sort of it's the gatekeeper that allows things permissions. So if they've got permissions through there, it actually helps through there. So on this one here, I'm just going to create a new subdirectory. No, that's image4, so I don't want it there. I want it. It's all right. We can actually go back to that one. So if I just go back to root, if I just go back into pyr2, and if I just create another one called Control V, and I'm just going to call this one rename X. So we have a folder which just has, inside that folder is just an index, and that web one, we'll actually delete that one. It's just got an HTML file to actually look at. So at this point in time, we can build. Where are we? No, come away. We can actually go and find a physical path of this. So we go into Windows and into pub or whatever it is, initpub, and we're going to PIR, and we go into X, and we go okay then. So we're linking to that actual path. We're going to make it just for the sheer hell of it. We're going to make it HTTPS. We're going to make it 5-point thing is going into that port, and the host name we're just going to have it as copy PIR V into there, and we're just going to find an old certificate and select it. So if we got this one here, okay, yeah, and we just go okay. So at least one site's using the same thing, who cares? So if I now fire up this site here, sorry, if I click on that site, because it says it's going to start it straight away. If I come into my browser, we've got here, and it says server not found. So if we just go Control-Shift-C, and we go refresh through here, sorry, and we go to network, and we go to refresh, unknown host. Now, the couple of things happening here that we have to go back in and set up. First of all, coming back into here, we'll go back into the place. So where did we set it up? Down the bottom. So where we got it down the bottom, we're just going to go into the default document, and the default document that's actually in there is actually index.html. So we're just going to move that up to the very top, and we can actually delete all of these other ones. So what it does is it says I'm going to look for that as the first thing that I want to trigger to. So we're going to move that to the top, and it's there, and we could delete all the other ones, but we don't need to do it there. So we've got that working. The other thing that we need to do is we need to right-hand click on there and edit permissions. Now on the permissions on this one here, we already have the security, and I've already set up permissions. Oh, no, it's not in there. Okay, that's all right then. We're going to edit. We're going to add permissions, and the permissions which we're going to add is IIS app pool / and pi r².tk, because that's the and if we check the name on that, you'll see that it goes to be a name, and we go OK, and it says add. And yeah, we've done that now. So now there should be one called PIR² there. So that's going OK, and we'll even put it down as we'll let it modify. We don't actually need it to modify, because all we're doing is actually reading an HTML file. But if we were going to put logs into that thing, we need to be able to go through. So this is actually saying, so if I now go back into my server and just go refresh, no, we're still doing it. I'll just copy, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to come back into here, and if I just go onto there, and I'm just going to restart that. So if I come into here and just go refresh, still not doing it. Why isn't that doing that there? Oh, sorry. And the other thing that we need to do is to go into a file called hosts. And we're going to go into this file called hosts, and what we're doing, we're associating that, and what did we say that was? That was X, wasn't it? X, PIRTK. So if we save that now if we go into there, I think we should be, no, let me just grab that, copy, and we're going to go into it again. B. Why isn't that happening? What haven't we done to that? Control Alt 3.